Welcome to section 1.1. This is the section on identifying points, lines, and planes. This is going to be MN8 on your note guide. And the first thing I'm going to want you to do is actually pause this video. While I know you just started it, but I want you to pause this video and define this vocabulary right here using the back of your textbook. Don't just feel like you have to use words. You can also use diagrams and pictures to help you understand what each of these lines, or excuse me, each one of these vocabularies words mean. Welcome back. Now that you have the vocabulary for this section written down on your note guide using the back of your textbook, let's talk about this example number 1, which says name points, lines, and planes. Letter A, it says other names for line LN are blank and blank. Well, LN is right here. Ooh, I need to synchronize, don't I? I had to pause there for a minute to synchronize my smartboard, but now we're back at it. It says, again, other names for LN. The first thing we can do is actually just reverse the letters. So we could, in fact, say that that is line NL. Notice that the line symbol is above the NL. The other thing that we want to recognize is that if this right here is LN, line LN, this little letter right here is representing that entire line. So you can actually say line B. So you can say LN is line NL, or you can say line B. The last thing, and I know it's not over here, but let's do another one where if you look, and let me erase this scribble here, you'll notice that line LN also incorporates point M. So what you can do, choose to do, is say that it's line LM or ML as well. That's going to represent that same line. Remember, a line goes on forever. That's why we have the arrows to represent it on the top, right on the top of your labels. Other names for plane Z, for letter B, you can pick 3 points on that plane, and notice that Z is over here. There's not a point associated with it. That is referring to the whole plane of Z, which goes infinitely in all directions. Think of it as a piece of paper that kind of goes on all directions on all sides. And that plane Z, you can just pick 3 points on that plane. And if you notice that while L is on that line that we just talked about, it is also on line or plane Z. P is on plane Z, and so is N. So we can say that other names for plane Z are plane L, N, P. Notice we're using capital letters. That does make a difference. Lowercase letters refer to something different. And then we could also pick 3 other points. For instance, L, M, and P. You could change the order of those. You can say MP, L, and whatnot, but all those 3 points refers to creating a plane. Letter C, it says points blank lie on the same line, so they are collinear. There's one of your words from above that you defined. Collinear means on the same line, and really we have this line right here. So 3 points that are collinear would be point L, M, and N. If you're talking about coplanar, which means that they are on the same plane, you're talking about 3 points that are on the plane, much like letter B. It's very similar to this right here, where you're talking about points L, N, and P. Or you could say again L, M, and P, or any of those orders of those letters. So as long collinear is all in a straight line, coplanar means all on the same plane. Number 1 down here, it says checkpoint. Use the diagram in example 1. Give 2 other names for MQ, line MQ. Name a point that is not coplanar with points L, N, and P. I want you to pause this video and try that on your own, please. Thank you for tuning back in. If your answer to that first part, give 2 other names for MQ, if you said it's QM with the line above it, kudos to you. Also, you could have said line A. Line, notice little a because that represents the whole entire line. Big letters are representing points. Over here it says name a point that is not coplanar with L, N, and P. You can definitely say point Q. Notice again, Q is capitalized. Let's move on to the next side of the note guide. Example 2, it says name segments, rays, and opposite rays for, so letter A, it says another name for, I'm missing my VX up here. Another name for VX is what? And now notice this, we have this VX written with a symbol up here without any arrows. That implies line segment now, not line. And line segment, as we've talked about, has a length, a definite length, and a line goes on forever. So there's a huge difference between those symbols. So another name, very similar to what we did with lines though, is that we could just reverse the order of your letters. So that those two refer to the same line segment, VX and XV. The rays, and I do want to point this out, when you're talking about XV, you're talking about this point to this point right here. So X to V, you can't say VW because that is going to change the length of that segment. So there's a huge difference there between those lines, which go on forever, and you're just referring to the straight line, versus the line segment. The rays with endpoints, now I'm on letter B there, it says the rays with endpoints W are, and I'm going to change colors here, shake it up a little bit. The rays with endpoints W here, actually let me erase this. Here's the W. A ray is going to go this way through W, or Y, so one of the rays is going to be W, Y, and notice I've always put the ray symbol to the right, you'll notice that as I do this. Another ray, and I'm going to change the color again, is WX. We're starting at W, going through X. And we have another ray down this way, starting at W, going through V. So a ray, as you defined it, starts at an endpoint, in this case it's W, and goes through a point, and this symbol implies ray up there. So this right here is the beginning point. So make sure that you're doing that in the proper order. The last one, I won't change colors because I think I'm running out of them, is going to be WZ. There's another ray with the endpoints starting at W. The opposite rays with endpoints W, now opposite ray just implies that you're starting here at W, one ray is going to go this direction, the other ray is going to go directly opposite, still starting at that same endpoint. So same endpoint, opposite direction, so same endpoint. Endpoint. Okay, so the opposite ray with endpoints WR, and there's a couple of them. One of the sets is going to be WV, and the other one, the opposite to that, is going to be WX. Why, you might say, and I'm going to come over here, erase my beautiful colors, and I have WV starting here, going this direction, and then opposite direction, but starting at the same endpoint is WX. So those are opposite rays. Let's say there's going to be one other set, and that's going to be WY, with a ray symbol above it, and then WZ. Notice all endpoints are W on this case. So here we have another checkpoint. Checkpoint is where you pause the video, try it on your own. So try number 2 and 3 on your own, and then check back to see if you're right. So here's number 2. If you got WY as the new name for the segment VW, good for you. Make sure again you have the line segment at the top. Number 3, it doesn't mean to be tricky, but it kind of is. VX, ray VX, and XV are not the same rays because they do not have the same endpoints. Remember, they do have to have the same endpoint and the same direction. Now if you look at the second one, are VW and VX rays the same? Well, they both have the same endpoints, so that's good. And notice if I go up here, oops, I think I'm going to go up there. I'm going to erase this. If you start at V, here and go through W with a ray, it's going to be that right there. Now I'm going to change to red. If I start at V and go through X, is going to be a ray like that. Now that arrow on both of those rays implies that it goes on forever in that direction. So are they the same? Yes. The explanation, you can say it in words. I just said that they have the same endpoint and they are collinear, which means they go in the straight line and follow the same line. Example number 3 down here. It says sketch intersections of lines and planes. It says sketch a plane and a line that intersects the plane at more than one point. And I want you actually to try these first and then come back to me and see if you're getting them right. They're kind of fun. So I will say though, when we sketch a plane, we tend to sketch it using a parallelogram. But remember though that this plane means that this line right here is going that way indefinitely, this way to infinity, this way to infinity, and this way to infinity. We just use the parallelogram because it's a standard shape. So try drawing a line through that or on that or around that that gives you an intersection of more than one point. Welcome back. So if you sketched a plane, I'm going to call this plane P, and you drew a line that intersects it at more than one point, what you're going to do is you're going to actually put that line right on that plane. So almost think about a piece of paper and then lay a pencil right on that piece of paper. There you have an example of a plane with a line right on it, and it's going to intersect here, 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 infinite number of points. This letter B, sketch a plane. I'm going to sketch a plane really quick. I'm going to say it's plane P. Sketch a line that intersects the plane at a point. And this is a little bit harder to draw, and I'm not a drawer. I'm sure you guys are much better than I am. But essentially, you're going to draw, think of a piece of paper and you putting a pencil tip right on the paper and almost going right through the paper. So if you can try to draw it so you have a line hitting the piece of paper and then going out back. Oops, geez. That's supposed to be my three-dimensional idea here. So what's happening again is the piece of paper, let's say, is horizontal and the pencil is vertical, and they are hitting each other just at one point where that pencil breaks through the paper. The last example, sketch two planes that intersect at one line. That is much harder for me, and I'm just going to let you know that there's a diagram in the book that's lovely, but I'm going to try very hard, and you can make fun of my diagram all you want. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Here's my plane again, and then I'm going to have a plane that kind of is going, ooh, yeah, I'm going to try here. It's intersecting there, and it's kind of coming, ooh. Doesn't help that I'm on the smartboard, but it's a plane that's kind of cutting it, kind of two pieces of paper intersecting, and when they intersect at a line right there. And again, there's a great picture in the textbook on this. Thank you for watching my video. If you have any questions, go back and look at it again and again, or in class tomorrow, you're going to have a chance to ask me any questions you want. Thanks. Enjoy.